Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. You know, in a future crime, the people who know first about the future crime are the criminals themselves. The criminals themselves know that the crime will be committed because they're planning it. And then you can come out and say, hey, actually, a crime is going to be committed somewhere else by someone else. But it's going to be you. It's just an introduction to this video. And what's going on here? We have a Polish general who tells us that certain things will happen in Belarus, which could be a spontaneous civil war, or maybe, I don't know, an insurrection, and maybe something like that. So we need to be prepared, which is the Polish people. I inserted myself as the Polish person too, which I'm not. But anyway, maybe one day I will be an honorary or honorific member of the Polish nation. Don't think so, but anyway, let's move on here. So we have Ukraińska Prawda, Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. General says Poland must prepare for uprising in Belarus. It's going to be a spontaneous, like it was a spontaneous uprising in 2014 in Ukraine, correct? Correct. And the other one that also was in Belarus before, right? And yeah, okay, I got it. General Valdemar, oh my God, let's see, Skripchak, Skripchak, I would say Skripchak, he's a former commander of the Polish land forces, believes, well, I don't like the word believes, I know or I don't know, or my assessment or my judgment. Believes is something, There is a real prospect of an armed uprising in Belarus and is calling on Warsaw to prepare for such an eventuality. Maybe it's going to be in Kiev. Why not? Those guys are full of weapons and are more are armed to their teeth. So this commander expressed his opinion on, again, opinion and beliefs. We're done. Already we got strike 2. What's going to be the next one? He heard it in church or something. Expressed his opinion on the TV channel Polsat on Tuesday, reports European Pravda. According to the Polish general, if the Ukrainian counter-offensive is successful, armed Belarusians who are now fighting on the side of Ukrainian forces could move to overthrow the regime of the self-proclaimed president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. Opa. That's interesting. And how many are there? 50 or 100? They're gonna destroy the regime of the self-proclaimed president? I don't think so. Unless there are gonna be some other volunteers, including Okay, I'm quoting. Let's prepare for an uprising in Belarus. It's not an uprising, it's an invasion. That's how it's called, if that's what you think right here. Because it will happen. It will happen. See this? This is a certainty. No, it might, it could, it may, it will. All right. The fact is, does he know things that we don't know, or he just believes? The fact is, what's the fact? Let's see, is that we cannot miss this movement. If it happens, right? And it will happen. We must be ready to support the troops that will conduct the operation against Lukashenko. Isn't that foreign interference in the internal affairs of a independent sovereign country? Oh, I guess not. My bad. All right. So we must be ready to support the troops that will conduct the operation against Lukashenko. We have reasons to help them. I know you have many reasons. Just as we are helping the Ukrainians, the commander said, end quote. Very interesting statement. Now, if someone else would make a statement, let's say a Chinese would say that we need to help certain people in the United States of America to overthrow a government that we don't like, let's say, what do you think these guys will say? And we have reasons to. Of course we have reasons. All right? What do you think how that would be perceived? Unless we consider that the Chinese are bad and we are good, and the same Lukashenko and his horde are bad and we are good, which, yes, that's the case. The Polish general believes that the Belarusian people will support the volunteers. When you say Belarusian people, do you mean all of them? Or what? Or some? Hey, be careful what kind of words you use here. Ukrainska pravda. What do you mean, Belarusian people? Some will, some not. Like in any society. Will support the volunteers who are now fighting in Ukraine. How many are they? And I'm quoting, will rise up against Lukashenko with enthusiasm. Hey, is that the same way the American troops were received with flowers when they entered Baghdad? You remember that's how they said? They will receive with flowers when they're gonna liberate Baghdad. And I guess they were received with something else. And I'm quoting, he no longer has the military capacity to prevent such an uprising. Well, some evidence will help us believe you. Russia will not help him. Please keep this in mind, because Russians contradict him. So therefore he's really off. Russia will not help him much, because it will have its own problems, he added, urging the Polish authorities to prepare for a massive influx of Belarusians into Poland in the event of an uprising. That's good. Planning is good. The whereabouts of the Belarusian dictator and his state of health have been unknown for some time. Blah, blah, blah. He appeared in public. He said he was sick. Now he's okay. That's what he said about rumors. That's what he said. But we don't know. He said, I'm not going to die yet, Lukashenko. Now let's see what the Russians are saying. Now, if I would use this, or anybody would use this, let's say, substitute Putin for Biden and the spokesman as Karine Jean-Pierre, and say, Biden's spokeswoman says Russia will liberate Belarus. Would that be a good connotation? Would that be neutral? Would that be an ass? Would that be what? Obviously, I will be an ass, right? If I say Biden's spokeswoman says the United States will do this. So anyway, you understand this is Ukrainska pravda. So expect that. Putin's spokesman, which is this guy right here, right? Peskov, said Russia will liberate Belarus if its people rise up against Lukashenko. That's not probably what this guy said. It's not about its people. It's about external guys fomenting something inside. But let's see if these guys are going to quote the guy. Putin's press secretary, Dmitry Peskov. Now, that's nice. That's how it should have been introduced, because that's what he is. And it's not Putin's, it's the Kremlin's, as you would say, the White House's. It's not Biden's press secretary. If you say that here, it's like Biden is a dictator somehow, which Putin was elected as Biden, and somehow he's a dictator. He dictates. But all the country's, how should I put it, institutions are functional. Oh, you know, Emil, how they're functional. They're just fake, you know. Okay, all right, thank you. Where's the evidence? Well, you know. All right, this is the argument I receive from cuckoos. Putin's press secretary Dmitry Peskov says Russia will intervene in the event of a popular armed uprising in Belarus. But how can it be a popular and could be armed? I didn't know that Belarusians are allowed to have weapons. Do they have it in the Second Amendment too? No, they don't. So it's not a popular armed uprising. It's a popular uprising, or it's a military armed insurrection, boys, or invasion from outside with the help of exterior agencies. Remember Ukraine 2014? Uprising in Belarus to overthrow the regime of its self-proclaimed president, Lukashenko. So this is according to Pravda, right? Or what is Ukrainska Pravda? It's not what he said. And now they are translating us in English what he says. The neighboring country, and I'm quoting, is our partners, ally, and fraternal state. Naturally, the Russian Federation has obligations regarding to ensuring the security of Belarus, which we will do in the face of such an evident threat. We don't know what the evident threat is because I don't have the question asked. Was the question asked insurrection, popular armed uprising, whatever it is? And either way, they're going to come over Red Rover. Now, it's true that the Polish general said, well, Russia has its own, right here, it has its own problems. That's true. That's true. But still, details. He also called Poland a, quote-unquote, hostile state to Russia, claiming it is now engulfed in Russophobic hysteria. That's his assessment. Peskov also claimed that Poland's, and I'm quoting, openly speaking of its intention to intervene directly, including by force, in the internal affairs of a neighboring state. That's exactly what this guy said here. So I don't know who's lying here. The whereabouts of this is the other article. Let's go back here. Background. Now they talk about the article I just read earlier. General Waldemar Szczepczka, former commander of the Polish land forces, expressed the opinion that there is a real prospect of an armed uprising in Belarus and called on Warsaw to prepare for such a scenario. You see, armed uprising is a different one than a popular armed uprising. Because armed uprising could be armed by the military, by the police forces, security, whatever. Or by the people if they have weapons. But anyway, words have meaning. And we have to use them properly, otherwise it's a lot of misunderstanding. So yes, Russia will intervene and Russia will squash them if they can, right? Right. Unless the Poles will say, well, wait a second, we should help. I don't think they will do, because the Poles are playing with fire real bad. That is, I guarantee you 99% that the Russians will not have, and I'm going to use words, will not have the same patience, military patience, that they have with Ukraine. They will not display the same patience with Poland. That is, they will nuke the fuck. That's how I think they will do. They will not fight a conventional war with Poland. I think they will just mop it. That's why I said they have patience with Ukraine, because they didn't use nuclear weapons. And I think that's patience. Why? Because if Putin was, as these guys say, that he's a madman, irrational, crazy madman, stupid. A madman is irrational, doesn't know the consequences. He would have used nuclear weapons so far, right? He would have no restraints. A madman is just madman. No consequences, doesn't think ahead. So therefore I think, and the Poles know that. But the Poles will try to do the same thing as the Americans did, and NATO, Americans and the vassal states, baby steps. But I don't think the Russians will be so, I would say, stupid as they were with the invasion of Ukraine unprovoked. Which is, say, hey guys, you send weapons over there. That's not good. There's going to be an escalation. Hey, you send more weapons. Hey, you send more weapons. No, I think they should have said from the very beginning, okay, one weapon, we're going to go full war. Because it's not full war over there. You say, what are you talking about, Emil? It's not full war. They bomb cities, they kill people. That's true. But full war means everything. And they don't use everything. They didn't have a general mobilization to start with. And they have weapons, about 7,000 of them, that they don't use. I'm not saying they should, God forbid. But anyway, you know what I mean? If you say full war, all war would be total war. Total Krieg. There would be something else, believe me. Like, for instance, the Americans and the British flattened out Dresden. Now that's total war. Or destroyed Hiroshima. Now that's total war. Or destroyed Nagasaki. That's total war. Or Hamburg. Total war. Or Berlin. Total war. You can't compare that with ugly scenes that you can see in Ukraine, in Kiev, or others, or maybe even if you use what's his name, Bakhmut. Bakhmut is flattened, but the guys wanted to fight inside Bakhmut. The guys fought inside Bakhmut. Yeah, I think if the Ukrainians would have been outside of Bakhmut fighting the Russians, I don't think the Russians would have flattened Bakhmut, because they are just killing, these people over there. But hey, according to these guys, that's what it is. They're just criminals and they destroy everything and everybody. Well, if that's the case, do you think it's only the Russians who do that? And then tell me why. Because they're somehow special? Hey, you're getting very murky waters here. You're going to be accused of xenophobia or anything. So, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.